Okay. So the very first thing I want to do, because I forgot last time, I wanted to solve the mystery of, yeah, Chucky Lake. I actually found out what that was, and amazingly enough, yeah, it was on GameFAQs, and it was a question that I had asked 2 years ago. Yeah, so even 2 years ago, I forgot I asked this damn question. Apparently, what they're saying is Schattenlauf. My German is not that good, but it is German. It is Schattenlauf, and translated Shadowrun. Now, this creates a very interesting couple of questions because FASA had a fanzine for the Shadowrun game system. It was called Kage, Kage, which translated means shadow in Japanese. So I'm wondering why they wouldn't go with or why they would go with that instead of, say, Kage or whatever, however you say Shadowrun in Japanese, which made me think maybe the development team was German. But no, apparently the development team is Blue Sky Software out of Colorado. So the mystery deepens. I don't really know where to go with it after this. But yes, that's what I was able to discover about the mysterious sounds of the jump house. Okay, so a couple of things have changed since the last time we visited our merry band of miscreants. First off, the attributes and skills have gone up very significantly for everybody, including for Freya and for Winston. I went on a couple of the Ghoul Run Shadowruns, and I realized something. I mentioned before you can get karma after killing a certain amount of people. That applies to monsters too. So just by doing the regular Ghoul Run where you're supposed to kill a certain amount of them, and then you can off the vampires and the gargoyles in there too, you end up earning karma throughout that run. So I just went in there with like 20 clips of ammo and just went nuts. Also, I bought everybody heavy combat armor. So siding with the Yakuza has paid off. I bought Freya the rating 4 power focus, so now she is exceptionally strong. And Winston got cybered to the gills. I'm not sure, but I think he might have just slightly less essence than I do. In fact, I want to see, he has 0.1 essence. He is barely alive. Whereas I have 0.4. I'm like hanging on to the branch by one hand. He's hanging on by a fingertip. But who cares? It'll make him more effective, and it'll be a nice trophy for him to keep when we eventually part ways. Okay, so let me take a quick look over my notes and see what I want to do next. I've got a couple of Johnsons that I'm eventually going to want to visit, and I'll get contacts out of them. But I think I want to complete the initial start of the story so we can get that plot moving. Now, this actually all started with getting Michael's stuff out of Stoker's Coffin Motel. Yes, more time with the Johnsons. Just, sit back and lather up. Anyway, oh God, what have you done to me? Oh boy. I'm gonna need to take a shower after this stream. But anyway, so the next thing we need to do, as we go back and look at our pocket secretary, and let's see, tips includes, okay, so Tabitha Shale is the next person we're going to want to talk to. I'll wait for you at the Tauruslar City Inn in Pulley Up Barrens. She's been waiting for a long time, but fortunately this is one of those games where you don't have a time limit on anything. And in fact, there are actually 3 different parts to the main plot line that you can do in any order, along with a couple of side quests you can do whenever you friggin' feel like it. Haversheen we'll get to later, and Caleb Brightmore we'll get to later. So the first thing we want to do is the Tauruslar City Inn, so we got to head to the Pulley Up Barrens. And so we shall. This way I at least feel a little better about spending all that time doing the grinding and explaining and all that, if we can actually make some plot progress. The cabbie spots your armband and gives you a pained expression. Looks like this one's on me, chummer. Hop in, chum. I put words in his mouth. In addition to taking new yen out of his pockets. That's the Orc Den. I think the Tauruslar City Inn is up top here. That ain't it. That's a club of some sort. That might be the underground. It's Ares headquarters. This might be it. I see the bed icon. The Tauruslar City Inn caters mostly to elves, as the word Tauruslar is elvish for remembrance. Despite its rundown appearance, this apartment has a great rep for being the safest place to stay in the Barrens. Does not say much. Goober Slot, I actually used a mod patch that I found that turns the main character female. So instead of Joshua, we are Judith. And it also changes things like your Michael's sister to your Michael's brother to your Michael's sister, and Sir to Ma'am, and Josh to Judy. Basically, because in Shadowrun I always like playing female characters. This actually swaps a sprite and portrait with another character later who becomes male in exchange. And when we see him, he's going to use Joshua's straight samurai portrait. But yeah, that's a result of a patch that I put in. Other than that, nothing really changes. You need a place to stay? Well, you've come to the right place. This is the safest hotel in the city for the price. Of course, payment is required in advance. Do you have a tenant named Tabitha Shale? Tabitha Shale? Yeah, she's here. Great safety, folks. Yeah, let's just go ahead and, yeah, everyone's safe here for the right price. Oh yeah, go on in. She's in 3A. She's been locked in a room for days and won't let anybody in, even to clean up. If you think you can talk some sense into her, be my guest. Put my magic to the test. Oh God. The manager connects you to her room via the vidphone. The screen remains blank, but the woman's wary voice identifies herself as Tabitha. Words tumble from your mouth in a desperate rush to convince Tabitha of your sincerity. That kind of approach always works, right? After some deliberation, she concedes that you are Michael's sibling and agrees to let you enter her apartment. Tabitha Shale, holy God, that hair. She is like, if you applied some gravity to Peg Bundy, that's basically what you'd get. Wow. Tabitha Shale opens the door as you arrive. She looks as if she hasn't slept in a week. She invites you in, but her eyes nervously dart around the room. Corduroy hair. Wow. That looks like, it looks actually like a big clump of yarn. It looks like she was bald and just knitted herself a wig. Tell me about Michael's last Shadowrun. I don't know that much about it. We were hired by an unknown Mr. Johnson through Caleb to track down a location in Sally Sheed. That's one of the Native American lands. I believe a lot of the elves have refuge there. I backed out when he made the offer, so I wasn't included in the deal. Michael said one stop at Orasco's and he'd be set. You know, Caleb's not our normal Johnson. We usually use a Johnson named Mortimer Reed. It's terrible. You never want to switch Johnsons midstream, you know. He sets up in the Penumbra district in a restaurant called the Big Rhino. What can you tell me about Caleb Brightmore? Who's this guy Orasco? We kind of know about Orasco anyway, so let's find out about Caleb. He's a Johnson Michael and I used a couple of times. I don't trust him, though. Who knows what those elves are up to anyway? Ooh, racist much? You might find him at Icarus Descending. That's where we always met him. Who's this guy Orasco? Boris Orasco is a small-time fixer who works out of an abandoned greenhouse in Redmond. Anything for a buck, that's Boris. He was probably the last person in the sprawl to see Michael alive. Well, frankly, if you're a fixer, yeah, your motto is anything for a buck. I had a fixer once, actually, who was... I called him Mr. Little, and he was based on, like, Ron Popeil and Tony Little and all those late-night infomercial guys. His motto was, go big for little. And he'd always come up with, like, really weird, as seen on TV, Shadowrunning projects. Or gear, rather. Products. My personal favorite I came up with was called the Shadow ShamWow. Ron Popeil. Help me, Mr. Popeil! Mr. Little, yep. His main product was called the Shadow ShamWow. And on one side, it was a like a kind of a Mr. Clean magic eraser thing that would pick up hairs and blood and anything that would have DNA on it. And then on the other side was a inert lye. You touched a chemical stick to it, and then the whole thing, like it was like a 6x6 blanket, and the whole thing suddenly became a big pool of lye if you need to dissolve a body fast. I was particularly happy with that. Let's see. So we got thanks for your help. Keep a low profile till I can sort this out. I'm looking for a good runner. Care to sign on? I don't know if she actually can run with you. I'm curious about that. Let's see. The fuck? Okay, what the shit? Okay, I just suddenly lost movement in my controller or in the Fusion, one of the two. Just a moment here. Let's see. What the hell? Okay, very weird. I seem to be having a technical glitch. So hold on one moment. I'm gonna go ahead and, I don't know if it's the controller, the emulator, or what the hell's going on, but, we're gonna do a quick reset. Okay. What the dicks? Why are we suddenly... throw me a bone here. Okay. I think the whole emulator may have crashed, so let me just, try this again. 1,000 pardons for the craziness, folks. Okay, there we go. I don't know what was going on, but there we go. Okay, so I'm looking for a good runner. Care to sign on? No way, Ace. I loved Michael, but I don't plan on joining him. Somebody powerful wanted Michael's team out of the way. I don't want any part of something that large. Cannot say I blame her. As if on cue, the door to the room explodes inward, leaving you momentarily stunned. A flash of automatic gunfire rakes Tabitha through the obscuring smoke and sends you diving for cover. Holy shit. As the swarm of bullets abates, you leap to your feet. Surging forward through the thick cloud, you catch a glimpse of a figure in red and black disappearing down the corridor. You rush back into Tabitha's room, but there are no signs of life. You notice a holopix among her scattered belongings and pick it up. Holopix, David William Alfeather, Sally Sheed Rangers Wilderness Patrol. Well, hell. Okay, you know what? I'm going to see what happens if we ask her to just keep a low profile. Same goddamn thing. Okay, well, let's get that last little bit out of there. Okay. Let's see what the dwarf inside has to say about this. I'm amazed he even lets us in the door after what we just brought upon his place. I mean, he went from an unclean apartment with a difficult tenant to a freaking crime scene. It's like he can rent out the CSI room now. Okay, well, with that out of the way, no pun intended, the next main thing for us to do is go have a chat with Boris Orasco and see if he can give us some more detail on the hell's going on. And by the way, Michael, wherever you may be, bro, sorry I got your gal killed. But to be fair, she was a Shadowrunner, so, you know, odds were fairly not in her favor to begin with. Okay, so back to the Barrens and heading to the greenhouse. The only illumination in the greenhouse comes from the dirty skylights, casting strange shadows. Seated at a cluttered desk is a wisp of a man hiding under a large hat. Come on in, just slot your cred stick before we start talking. Time is money, chum. We already know what this guy is about. Oh my God, Cooper. Are you talking about her use of baby powder and how it might result in ovarian cancer? Because there was a civil lawsuit for that. Or as Jim Cornette once said about a lawyer friend, you could call him if you need to have a tete-a-tete about your tainted taint. Anyway, looking for some information. You just ask me anything you want to know. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. What do you know about my brother Michael? It just occurred to me that your brother was in here a while back. Well, thanks for remembering. He came in using the name Alfeather, though I never believed that was really his name. I believe he bought a few high-powered weapons, lots of ammo, and a four-wheel truck. Anyway, I wouldn't have thought twice about it until some Renraku hotshots started a bird dog. Never seen the suit before he came looking for your brother. He had lots of hired protection, but he looked like the most dangerous of the bunch. His name was Mako Sochow. Mako Sochow, I guess. He applied some pressure, but I didn't give up your bro, I swear. I didn't know nothing except what he bought. Mako must have gotten more information somewhere elsewhere. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, Boris, I don't think I want to know you. OEOEO. Thanks. Your mind mulls over this new information as you turn to leave. You are startled back to reality as a Renraku strike team breaks into the greenhouse. Groundhouse? The grindhouse. It's Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez attacking. Oh, goddamn. They're aiming for Boris, who attempts to run for cover. The leader seems to recognize you and immediately instructs the team to take you down instead. Well, don't I feel fucking honored. Okay. Let's see how many different ways this can go wrong. Wow, crack strike team you got there. Boris appears much more nervous now that he survived a Renraku strike team attack. He doesn't let that get in the way of business, though. A sincere thanks for the save, chum. You gave me the distraction I needed to hop out the back. So it doesn't sit down and slot up. A guy's got to make a living, you know. Justin, I out of respect, I'm saying nothing. Is it? I guess that. Okay, I hope that was her last name, because. Okay. I can. Yeah. I can. I'm amazed I can look at the computer screen right now, considering how deep the hole underneath my chair that I've been digging has gotten. So let's get some information. Do you know anything about David Alfeather? That ranger who patrols the Sally Sheed? You won't get to see him unless you've got a visa, of which I have plenty in stock. Rarely leaves that Amerindian village he's stationed at, but he's okay. It's his brother who's a real dreckhead. Drek is the analog for shit in the Shadowrun world. Brother? Yeah, Aragorn, a real fraggin' arrogant punk. You know, the king who returned, carries a sword. I don't care for him, but I gotta make money. Last time he was here, he was shooting his mouth off about taking on a big corp for one of the Johnsons around here. Brother? He's still on the brother kick. Is this Hulk Hogan? Haven't seen him since and don't feel too bad about that. Though I do miss the creds. Okay, I'm just going to see if he has anything else to say about Michael. I already told you all I know. I suggest you find Mako Sochow. He's the one who's after your bro. I'll talk to you later, chum. Come back when you've caught up on your new yen. Okay, so with that, we are actually set at the initial start of the plot. So there's 3 places we can go, basically as we want. One path leads to us finding David Alfeather, one path leads to us finding Mako, and one path leads to us finding Caleb Brightmore. Now, because he has access to some very important contacts, and because it's one of the actually the way to rescue formerly Eileen Two-Fist, now Isaac Two-Fist, because of the patch I'm using, we're going to go seek out Caleb Brightmore first. But before we do that, I want to do one thing. I had boosted up my negotiation, so I want to double check the price of the Fairlight Excalibur Cyber Deck at the Crime Mall. See, software and hardware. 181, 680 versus... Okay. Well... Okay, well, this is amusing. The really important contact I wanted to meet through Caleb Brightmore. One of the reasons why is because he sells the Fairlight Excalibur Cyber Deck, but he sells it for $185,000. So thanks to my negotiation, I actually get it for less. So guess what? We are going to go ahead and get the best cyber deck in the game. Frickin' awesome. And let's see, we can go pretty high on the deck stuff now, because the Fairlight has a lot of expansion room. Let me see. Yeah, let's see the homes and storage. This map. Okay, a default of 1,000 megapulses in the storage. That is massive. Deck stats. MPCP. Okay, yeah, so we can have all of those BOD, evasion, masking, and sensors up to 12 megapulses. It's basically think of it like megabytes were in the 80s, kind of like now. So I don't know the direct conversion to how our current standards for measuring computer memory would be, but megapulses is what they call it in the Shadowrun world. But yeah, it's going to load fast. It's going to have a lot of active memory for programs. Hardening, that's basically armor to protect the CPU of the deck against damage. And response, it's going to be greased lightning fast. So I am very happy with what I have. And I'm going to boost this up at some point, but not now, because I don't anticipate needing to do a matrix run just yet. But I'm still going to talk to Caleb because I need to find out information from him in order to advance things. Okay, so the next step is to head to downtown Seattle. Although I might actually stop by the archaeology and double check some... No, actually I can wait on that. Yep, I got a hell of a bod. I don't got no dad bod, that's for sure. I wish I could remember exactly where Icarus Descending was compared to this. I think it's... That's a... Okay, what's the top of the map? Oh yeah, you'll notice everybody is a lot faster because everyone now has either high quickness or wired reflexes or both. Ahead of you is a man lying on the street. He seems to be hurt badly. The guy looks to you like he needs medical attention badly. Badly. I will go ahead and give him first aid. As you bend down to start first aid, the man's eyes flash red and you catch a glint of fangs as he hisses at you. With supernatural agility, he attacks. Oh great, it's a vampire. It's John Cena as a vampire. And we're busy aiming at a civilian. You know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna kill you, you're already hurt. Well, that's what I get for trying to be kind. This isn't it. Sadly, Goober Slot, no, and I don't have patches to do so either. Yeah, I'll just do the walk away. Every once in a while, the frag grenade sale is as close to legitimate as that kind of thing can be. A flustered woman passes by you. A moment later, a grungy man passes in pursuit of the woman. It appears he is some form of law official chasing a suspect. Hey, what's going on here is a safe thing to say. The man has grabbed the woman and whirls around on you. Lone Star undercover. I've got her under control, so you had best leave, citizen. The officer hauls her away. Well, it depends on what you mean by the standard way. Here's basically how it works in Shadowrun. The stat you had, Essence, which basically determines, how much cyberware you can have before you die, and also how easy it is to magically heal you. Vampires and other creatures drain essence for their sustenance, and most of them have a secondary power called infection, which means once that someone's essence has been drained completely away, they pass the virus on, the victim apparently dies, and then comes back to life as another one of that creature. At that point, they go into a feeding frenzy until they can get themselves, kind of topped off. But at that point, they become a full-fledged whatever. And depending on the way you want to do the lore, they're in the book they breed true. So if a vampire bites a human, the human will become a vampire. But if they drain an elf, the elf will become a banshee. And so on and so forth. There are different variants for the different metatypes. I always did it as anybody could become anything, so I had like elf and troll vampires and human banshees and things like that. But I like to experiment with that stuff a lot anyway. I also like to do, there was a possibility that the victims could become addicted, and if that happened, they'd become addicted to the rush of being drained and would seek out the creature to get another session and then lead to the inevitable. There are also some creatures that could infect even if they hadn't drained completely, at which point you'd get not only addiction but a slow burn turn. That's what I did with the succubi. But anyway, so yeah, that's the rough version of it. I don't know how it is in the modern versions. That's how it is in 2nd edition. No. If anything, if a human bites a vampire, the vampire becomes confused, and the human will have drank vampire blood and probably become a vampiric pawn, which basically is the equivalent of a Renfield. At least that's what I think. Anyway, so if I remember right, this is Icarus Descending. Yes. Icarus Descending is a high-class restaurant in the elven part of downtown. You have heard many times how culturally biased the management is toward humans, something only a prestigious establishment can get away with. I wonder if that's supposed to mean biased against humans. A burly elven bouncer stands guard at the door. I don't remember about information, so I'll try that first. I'd like to go in. Doesn't actually work unless you have a very high reputation. I'm hoping 6 is enough. Otherwise, I have totally hosed myself. So let's try information first. Speak fast, human. Okay, I don't think he'll even talk to you unless you have a high reputation. So, what can you tell me about Caleb Brightmore? The Pouncer? He's a Pouncer now? Well, okay, you do your thing. Judith, right? Mr. Brightmore said to send you back to his booth when you came, so hop to it, little man. Okay, we missed something there. And don't be causing any problems. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what... if you'll excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because I want to send these things to the developer of the mod as I find them. so he can see, hey, you know, I have an issue here where it didn't quite take. So bear with me just a second. Okay. Done. Yeah, I mean, when you think elven, you don't necessarily need to think, you know, slight and frail. But, you know, you can have elves that are, you know, bodybuilders, or with cyberware, like the muscle replacement, they can get pretty buff. You know, I mean, you theoretically can have a wimpy, thin, wussy troll, you know, or a fat troll with not a lot of musculature to them. You know, so there's possibilities all over the place. And don't be causing any problems. Okay, I've got another question for you. Speak fast, human. Do you know where I can find David Owlfeather? The Amerindian Ranger? He comes in every now and again when he wants some high culture. He spends most of his time in the wilderness, though. Now I'm asking you nicely to leave, human scum. Okay, I'll talk to you later. The bouncer looks rather pleased now that you are leaving. Okay, and we'll just wander right back in. I'd like to go in. The elven bouncer sizes you up. So, this is the Judith that's tripping tongues. You should know we don't like to serve your type, but you seem to know how to take care of yourself. He steps aside and lets you enter. Okay, now I'm trying to remember if there's more than one person in here. It may just be Caleb. So let's try that first. In the dark booth, you see a well-dressed elf. 2 bodyguards flank him. They seem ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. I'm Caleb Brightmore. I know you're looking for me, and, sad to say, I also know why. I am truly sorry about your brother's death. He was a good friend. Ours is a dangerous business, too dangerous of late. Tell me about Michael's last Shadowrun. Michael's mission was to seek out a specific cave for an interested party. Sadly, I don't know much more than that. They were warned of the dangers in traveling through the wilderness, but ambushes aren't part of your typical forest. Well, yeah, depends on if you run into one of those Earth environmental nutcase groups. His team was traveling on restricted lands when they were killed. As a result, the scene of the crime was closed to me. I believe the official cause was listed as, quote, death from superior firepower, unquote. I would love to see that on a news broadcast or morgue report sometime. I'd also like to see death by a cessation of living. As to who's behind all this, again, I know very little. I was only the agent in his final contract. I received my orders from an elf named Frosty, who in turn took orders from someone else. Alas, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Okay, so the ultimate villain of this is going to be Kevin Bacon. I have been unable to learn more about her despite repeated attempts. As my reputation is not to bite the hand that feeds me, I would suggest you seek her out. I know she spends a lot of time in the Pulley-up Barrens, so you might seek her out there. That is all I can tell you regarding your brother. Is there something else I can do for you? So let's see, we got information. Since he is a Johnson, we can get work from him, and his jobs are pretty good. Not nearly as much money as I made just doing random data steals, but one of those side quests actually comes off of... one of those side quests actually comes off of some of Caleb's Matrix jobs, but we'll deal with that later. Right now, I'm looking for some information. All you must do is ask. I will answer as best I can. I also have some contacts who may help, but I have to offer them something to show you are serious. They require 2,000 new yen up front before I can give you any numbers. Now, the contact that I was going to speak to was the one that sold the Fairlight Excalibur. I don't remember if he has anything else of value. I think maybe a couple of Matrix programs. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up the contact anyway, because I got the money, why not? I have a few powerful friends who could give you a hand. The first's name is Sergeant Chillicott, my Lone Star contact. He can make things simpler for you wherever Lone Star has some pull. Next is Kip David, a high-priced corporate decker. He has extensive knowledge on corp systems and may even have a few black market icebreakers. Are you interested in either? Sergeant Chillicott. Let me check my notes. I don't think I have shit all use for him. In fact, actually, I believe the things that Sergeant Chillicott offers are the same things that, what the hell is his name? Henry Culver offers in terms of getting into Hollywood Correctional and erasing your Lone Star record. But Culver does it for less. Yeah, leave it to a politician to be much easier to buy off than a cop. So I will go with Kip David, the corp decker. Caleb deducts the amount from your cred stick and borrows your pocket secretary. As soon as we're done, I'll set things up. His number is ready for your use. Okay, I'm looking for some information. Okay, I need some questions answered. Sorry, I don't know anything that would help you right now. All you must do is ask. I'll do the best I can, like I just did. Okay, so for right now, we got the one contact we're going to need out of them. I may end up coming back and getting all the contacts later, just to, for sake of completion. But right now, I think we're done with him. So I'll talk to you later, chum. I look forward to seeing you later. Be careful out there, Judith. And Caleb's favorite show is apparently Hill Street Blues. Now let's see if someone else is in here. It's not always obvious. Okay, so yeah, it looks like just Caleb. Okay, so we got what we needed there. Frosty the Hitman was an angry, merciless soul. A flustered woman passes by you. A moment later, a grungy man passes in pursuit of the woman. Eddie Vedder? It appears he is some form of law official, chasing a suspect. Okay, let's see. Hey, what's going on here? Man has grabbed the woman and whirls her around on you. Lone Star undercover. I've got her under control. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, whatever. Well, this is Matchstick. I think it should be Matchsticks, but a high-class nightclub that caters to the corporate clientele of downtown Seattle. A well-built and dressed human guards the door, checking IDs and cred sticks. I'd like to go in. Hey, Judith, you've been on a lot of people's lips lately. I'd be careful if I were you, because some of those people are inside. Step this way. Yeah, here's the thing. In regular Shadowrun, the game, the reputation is not a normal stat. It just exists in this game, though you can figure out your reputation for certain things. And having a high rep, as in, people know you, doesn't necessarily help. Because sometimes it'll mean, hey, this is the Shadowrunner who can get shit done. But sometimes it'll also mean, hey, aren't you the Shadowrunner who did that last week? So, yes, very double-edged. Pardon me for a second, I just need a bit of quenching. That was good. I have a 2-liter bottle of Sprite Zero that I'm about halfway through, so I had to uncork it, and it was going to go psh, and I wanted to spare y'all from that, even though I just did it to you. Okay, so let's see. Got a Johnson in the back corner, but let's talk to this person first. An elf is working on a cyberdeck here. She turns to you as you get closer. What? And she's pretty friggin' hot. Looking for some information, looking for a good runner. Well, information first. I may have something you covet. What's your story, chummer? Heartbane was an ancient elven leader. She prophesied the Matrix, a place where everything and nothing exists, a place where wars are fought and blood is shed without weapons. She knew it was going to be big. So, basically, she was Ada Lovelace. So I use Heartbane as my street name, coupled with my true name, Rihanna. I've been running the Corp since the inception of the Matrix. I've seen just about every type of ice and flatlined my share of Decker cowboys. Without Deckers like myself, the Corps would grow unchecked. They would have even more power than they do now, which is saying a lot. Okay, I need some questions answered, like, tell me about the Matrix. The Matrix holds some keen realities. I've heard stories some corps are accidentally creating life in the Matrix, artificial intelligences. It's all possible in the Matrix. That's a keyboard. Most cyberdecks usually have a full function keyboard on the outside housing, but the rest of the stuff is done with the mind. It's all possible in the Matrix. Even so, my talents and skills will never be duplicated by some program. If you want to crack a system, nothing can compare to raw elven talent. If you want to run a corp, I'm your woman. Questions? Corporate security procedures. Simple. They are deadly. If you don't have top-level software and an awesome deck, not even my skills could get you in. If you got the wares, the best way to run a corp system is by jacking in from inside the corp. From there, you can enter the system via I/O ports, input-output, which are usually less protected than the SANs, serial access nodes. Much easier to get what you're after. Okay, let's talk about a different subject. Let's just see what she says. I'm looking for a good runner, care to sign on. Are we talking something I can sink my teeth into? Well, not exactly, because computer chips would just crush your enamel. Looks like you already got your hands full, pal. Come on back when you can free up a spot for my talents. Yeah, that's what happens if you already have two runners. Now, Rihanna Heartbane, from what I understand, is the best NPC decker in the game. If it hadn't been for the fact that I went with a decker right away and wanted to do a... and I am stuck on her. Wow. But like I said, if it hadn't been for the fact that I wanted to do a decker right away and not have to hire a decker and then modify their stuff and change the things the way I want, change the plays to change the things to the way I wanted them to be. Good God. Then I would have definitely hired Rihanna. But as it is, there's really not much that she has to offer me other than the occasional pretty face to look at if I ever decide to go buy matchsticks. Okay, now before I talk to the Johnson in here, let me just check my notes on something. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think we're good here. You enter the booth. It is extremely dark. The diminutive figure seated there exudes confidence and charisma. His voice is a rich baritone. He is Jesse the Body Ventura. Let's get one thing straight. Business is business. The name's Julius Struther, and I like to keep things on the up and up. So tell me, how can we help each other today? I'm looking for some information. I would be happy to tell you what I know for a modest price. 1,000 new yen grants you a contact. Questions are free for the moment. I believe he does have a contact that I want. Yes, he definitely does. Okay, so I'm going to do the contact. I can connect you to an ex-mercenary who knows a lot about breaking into the Hollywood Correctional Facility. This guy's a real pro, so I wouldn't upset him if I were you. Treat him right, and he might be able to supply you with some useful equipment if you catch my drift. You want his name? Easy money, chum, or I'll pay. Yes. I don't really care about him getting me into Hollywood Correctional because Culver can already do that. But there are a couple of other things this guy can do that make him invaluable. Julius transfers your new yen into his account, then inputs the contact's name and number into your pocket secretary. His name is Captain Quentin James. Seen a little too much action he has, but worth the price. Okay? So I'm looking for some information. I need some questions answered. How may I illuminate you? Just so wonderfully pretentious. What can you tell me about Caleb Brightmore? Caleb is strictly uptown. He moves in his circles and I move in mine. We don't mingle, if you catch my point. When I get a little bigger, he'll become a problem. I've got another question for you. How may I illuminate you? Have you heard of a Johnson named Mortimer Reed? This guy is a major thorn in my side. He's the competition and he doesn't play very fair, if you catch my drift. I'd watch myself if I were you. There was a contract out on that guy. You can't trust him. Okay, let's talk about a different subject. Spell it out for me so there's no communication problems. Don't need work from him right now, so I'll talk to you later, chum. Bye. I like that. Bye. Okay. Take a quick look here. Just checking my notes on here and just seeing where I am. Okay. Alright. Mainly what I'm doing is I want to make sure I am kind of sequence breaking and I'm kind of working on all three of these at the same time, but I just want to make sure that something I do isn't going to lock out everything else. Big Rhino is... oh, it's the next one over. Goober Slot, you have a dirty mind, and that's a wonderful thing to taste. Which of these buildings is it? A company man storms up to you. Hey, you can't get away with this. Don't think I don't recognize you. Let's talk to him. All at once the man snaps. He reaches into his coat and pulls out a gun. And why do they use the vampire sprite for the company man?